Hello. It has been a long time. Hello everybody, this is the Virtual Odd Job VTuber Majima Nago. It's been forever, guys. Hello. Thank you for all of your patience. Thank you for being here. Oh. My goodness, it has been a long time. Honestly, I'm not even sure if all my settings are even correct. So if I do sound weird, or if there's anything that's kind of weird with the stream, please let me know. But otherwise, thank you guys so much for your patience. It has been a long time. It's been 4 months. Sorry I didn't call. Sorry I didn't write letters. It has been quite a busy time for me. Oh my gosh, I haven't been streaming since like May. My goodness. Yeah, but thank you guys very much for your patience. Definitely, I'm sure you guys have noticed there's a few things that are a little bit different about the way the stream looks. I did get some new digs. Oh, you guys like my new digs? I hope they look kind of cool. This wasn't recent, by the way. This was Gachi kind of some time ago, where I have essentially asked one of the local VTuber talents in virtual Canada all about, you know, commissioning something that I can actually call my own. Because for the longest time, you know, the overlays I was using was just a bunch of not really free use, like sort of paid to use stuff where I was able to buy it and use it, but definitely it was not unique for my own. So I wanted something that was a little bit more, you know, me, my own, that has a lot of, you know, myself in it. So I decided to ask for them to, you know, please make something that will be mine. And they did, and I definitely greatly appreciate them. But yeah, what you see here is definitely new, and of course, you know, in my colors, the red and white for sure, and of course the low black, because I like black quite a bit. you probably can't see under this hoodie, but I wear a black shirt all the time, so yeah. But yeah, it's really nice to really get my own overlays for once, and I'm sure that I'll be using this for a long time now that I am officially back to actually streaming more regularly again. It has been a long time coming, and I will explain myself. I do plan to explain all about all the going-ons as we're going on. Hi, Hoshi-san. It's been a while. It's been months. I hope you've been well. I hope you've been well. I have, you know, just been around. Yeah, so yes, I have been away for quite some time, and I do plan on explaining all the different things that led up to the disappearance of Nago Majima, and also, you know, a little bit more about what is going to happen from here on out. I missed your birthday. I'm so sorry about that. Happy birthday. It's very delayed. If it makes you feel better, I missed my own birthday too, which was actually like technically last week, but let's not worry too much about that. You know, I have thought that I should go and do some stream stuff, but unfortunately I had a lot of work and stuff that piled up, so I wasn't even able to celebrate my own birthday. If that makes you feel better. But yes, definitely the past few months I've been extremely busy. Honestly, if I had to sum up the main reason for this hiatus in the first place, this 4-month hiatus since the end of May, it would just purely be the amount of work that I was dealing with. Because, to reiterate my current situation in terms of work, of course, being the virtual odd jobs I am, I have multiple things that I'm doing. Especially over the summer, this was definitely more intense, mainly due to, you know, just lots of work, especially on the event side. Because I'm sure you guys all know, like, events, they usually happen in the summer and stuff, and everything just kept piling up from my regular work. I work with a Japanese company, which I'm technically done with, sort of. I'll explain a little bit more as we go on. But basically, yeah, there's just a lot of stuff that was piling on. Honestly, I think I probably mentioned this in the past too, with streaming, and how I like to essentially just take whatever time that I would be playing games and just stream it, because why the heck not, right? Like, I have fun streaming, I have fun doing it with you guys, but honestly, I've had so little time that I haven't even touched a game in 4 months. That's the main thing, right? Because normally, if I was gonna play a game anyway, I might as well stream it. But I haven't played a goddamn thing. I'm so behind on everything. There's been so many cool games that have been coming out, like Baldur's Gate and stuff, Street Fighter 6, and I haven't had time to play anything. But yeah, it's just been so very busy. So in that sense, let's move on to the actual, you know, section where I kind of just break things down bit by bit about what's been going on with me for the past few months. Oh, this part doesn't change. Oh, yeah, there we go. Let's see. Yeah, as you've noticed that I actually do have new overlays that are completely unique to myself now. These are mine. Yeah, these are mine now. But yeah, I have completely new overlays for everything, so everything's definitely much more me focused. So I personally super excited about that. So I will be using these from now on, which should be fun, I think. Ooh, this is oh, that box is definitely much bigger than I. Ooh, let me fix that. Give me a second. Let's nope, that's not it. Let me whoop. Come on. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Heights. Let's make it 200. Ah, there we go. Not sure if that looks right, but let's just go with it for now. Don't want to do too much fixing. See, this is how unprepared I am. Like, I don't even remember how to stream anymore. But yes, the hiatus. Let's do some explanation on why that happened. So, the last time I logged in was around end of May. And that was around the time that Anime North happened. And I was here. So Anime North, being one of the biggest events in virtual Canada. Normally, I wouldn't be exactly like super stoked to do it or anything, but there were quite a few things I was asked to do by some personal friends that kept me pretty busy. And at that time, I was just like, oh yeah, no, it's only gonna be for the weekend stuff, right? So of course, Anime North happened, and I was there. I was working the whole time, by the way, so I didn't really get to play per se. You know, a lot of people go to events to hang out with their friends. For me, it's a little bit different now, especially since I'm kind of really steeped into the general going-ons of, you know, events in North America. And as a result, yeah. あ、ルンバさん。お久しぶりです。もう4ヶ月ぶりですよ、最後の配信は。もう。But yes, it has been a long time. But yes, I was at Anime North. I was helping out with a lot of stuff, mainly translation stuff, because honestly, me being able to be fairly bilingual is definitely one of my strengths. And there are a lot of events that do come and ask for my help in facilitating that kind of thing. And definitely I have been asked by not only stuff around virtual Canada, but even stuff around the virtual United States of the Americas. So recently I actually been helping a lot of the events over hither also. But as a result, yes, this did add to my workload and is definitely one of the reasons why I've been having this long hiatus. So yes, Anime North, I was here, basically just doing translation. I won't get into too of the specifics in fear of doxing myself, even though, to be fair, I'll be dead honest, I'm not really too concerned about being doxed and stuff, because I will admit that I actually have quite a fairly public personality, especially with the event sphere on my own. So personally, I'm not exactly too concerned about it, but we'll try to keep this, you know, this mystique up a little bit, since I think that's also part of the fun about being, you know, a VTuber in the first place. But regardless, translation, you know, panels, and whatnot. And that's the normal stuff that I end up doing for Anime North quite a bit. And I used to do it especially more before COVID, but of course after COVID happened, a lot of things happened and I wasn't able to do it as often. But I will be frank, I do not like this event at all. Because the thing with Anime North and myself is that even though I've had a long relationship working with them, it is not at its core a very good event. And this is unrelated to the work that I do for most events, by the way. The main reason why I dislike Anime North is because it's run by old fogies that have no idea what anybody likes about anime events anymore. So, as a result, like, Anime North is run by very, let's say veteran anime fans, probably the best way to put it. And as such, they have a very narrow and very ancient view of the anime culture and also the people that go to these kind of events. And as such, they seem very content to just really rehash the same thing over and over again with reckless abandon year over year for decades. These are the kind of people that do that. And unfortunately, Anime North equals, actually let's just change the title to just an Anime North situation. Equal formerly biggest anime event in virtual and non-virtual Canada. So yeah, as such, Anime North has always had the most numbers in terms of attendee count. Supposedly, by the way, because I know their way of counting is a little bit sus. But as such, it's always had the reputation of being the biggest and the one that everybody should go to. but unfortunately the quality was never there. So I don't like this event for this reason. So if the event itself was to ask for my help, normally I turn their ass down. For sure. Frankly be told, as I'm starting to get a little bit more known over the entirety of North America and various events that I've worked with for doing what I do, I don't like having my name attached to these events that I don't think are really worth my time or make me look bad. So in general, if it was Anime North and they have asked me to help in more of a deeper extent that I do for some other events now, I've straightly just turned them down because really I don't really want to be tied to this event in general, since they really just do not understand or even try. And because of that, what they offer, especially to like guests and people that are providing content to the event, they don't get treated all that well. And as such, normally I just say no, but a personal friend asked for a favor. And this personal friend is somebody that really also is very known around the sphere and is much more deeply involved in Anime North than I have, even though I've also been equally as, well, not equally, I've definitely been involved in the, with them in the past, but definitely this friend of mine is somebody who's much more deeply involved and has asked me a favor to really help them this year with various Japanese translation needs, since the entirety of the past team at AN has disappeared. And this is specifically regarding the Japanese translation team. So there was a team that used to exist, and in fact I actually was heavily involved in that team in the past before COVID, but they all just up and left. And this is actually the second time it's happened in the last 5 years. So as you can imagine, there's a lot of like staff dislike, and also a lot of people that have worked for Anime North do not like it either. So as a result, I just went there as a personal favor. And honestly, it's not that I had a bad time this time or anything. I think I had a very good time, and I had a lot of good time working with the guests that I was in charge of. And they were very nice people. I did my best for them to have the best time as they could at the event. But definitely, as it was a little bit unusual overall, I was definitely quite exhausted and definitely very tired after this event. And frankly, like, it was a lot of build-up. I'll be dead honest. And there was a lot of build-up that was unrelated to the event, but also related to work with events in general, but also my personal work that really drained me afterwards. So this is the about the time where I decided to take a week off afterwards to recover. Since just in general, I've kind of been overworked up to that point, both with my regular job and my stuff that I was involved in with the JP side and whatnot. But yeah, after Anime North, I was drained. And I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to take a week off of... this is not a week off of work. This is... I decided to take a week off from streaming only. I was still very much actively working. And the work just kept piling on at that point, too. That's why I'm just like, you know what? Like, I needed a break. Frankly, I needed a break from streaming, mainly because it was cutting into my time and I was not able to do it the week after. So I was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna chill and stuff. But as it turns out, let me just move on with this. Yeah. Yes. The general thought of myself during this time, definitely there was a lot of stuff happening with work. And this is definitely a mix of both my regular work and also side work. And in general, this joke aside, in order to split it to what I'm normally working on, so day, reg work, night, JP work, and then in between, event work. So as you can imagine, I didn't really have time to even sleep properly for quite some time. And of course, I was more than happy to really relieve a lot of my stress via just, streaming and also being able to play games and stuff, but there was no time. Any free time, basically, I just would be spending just recovering on sleep. So there were many times where I'd be just completely passed out whenever I had any free time. And it really wore on me quite a bit. I will not lie about that. And this is honestly probably the biggest factor in the hiatus. Since normally I would take whatever little time I can scrounge out in between things to stream and just have my break. It's because really streaming for me, especially since I just play games all the time, this is my break. And this is actually why I enjoy doing streaming in the first place, because this is my time to not only be able to chat with random people over the internet that want to just kind of come and chime in. This was my time to really just work through the stuff that I really wanted to work through, like the games that I really wanted to play, right? But because I didn't even have time to sleep very properly, what ended up happening is that whenever I just have free time, I'd just be passed out. just gone. I'd just be completely gone. And this continued as the summer rolled in, because when summer happened, well, summer equals JP work increase. Reg work increase. Event work. Events happening everywhere. So yes, because summer's the hot season, right? If you think about it, for a lot of things. So because summer was rolling around, every part of my job just suddenly just increased in the amount of work because everything was getting more active, right? So stuff that I had to do for the Japanese side increased because they have a lot of stuff that's all of activations happening during that time that really increased the amount of work that I had to do, which is fine. I sort of expected it. But then, of course, my regular work also increased too, because again, summer, a lot of things are happening. And of course, events, they're all happening in summer. So honestly, this is my first year doing all this at once. And honestly, after this experience, it's kind of made me sort of rethink the amount of work that I should be intaking, especially during the summer seasons. As I did expect the amount of work I would be doing to increase, but let's be honest, not by this much. Holy. I was probably maybe getting 4 hours of sleep a day at best. Which meant that whatever time that I could find in the middle, especially during the afternoons, if I had an hour, I'm napping. I ain't streaming. And also the times that I have in between sometimes were so little that it didn't really make sense for me to stream. Because for streaming, I want optimally at least 2 hours, since anything less feels too short. Because especially since most of my my content tends to be gaming. When you sit down and you open a game and you start playing, and that's not really enough in terms of really getting into it, is it? And for me, it definitely isn't. And I would want at least 2 hours to really sit down and really get into the meat of it and just be able to start enjoying myself for a little while. And frankly, there just wasn't all that much opportunities to just have 2 hours in between, because I was stuck between meetings, stuck between work, stuck between all that stuff. And it made me realize that I really needed to back off on certain things. So, yeah. But let's talk about a little bit of the stuff that I was more involved in during this time that I can reveal. So, Of course, there's a lot of preparation that led up to a lot of things. One of the very great highlights, and it's one of the things I really want to talk about, was definitely my first experience with a certain event. And this was... So, yes, Otakon. So, this was my first time going to Otakon. So, I was at Otakon this year, mainly throughout the entire thing, actually. And Otakon, I've actually heard a lot of stories about, right? Otakon. I like numbers, so I actually know a lot of numbers. So it's like 42,000 people a year. The biggest East Coast event next to NYC. So this was my very first experience with Otakon. Of course, taking place in the heart of Washington, D.C. now. It's currently just downtown D.C., which was very interesting because I've never been to this event. Of course, I've been to, like, MagFest, which is close, but not in the same area. Since it's in, like, since it's basically in, like, a sort of a resort area that's off, a little bit south of where the airport is, whereas, Otakon itself is, like, in the dead of DC, right? But this was my first time working with them, and of course I was doing the usual shtick with Japanese translations, whatnot. But honestly, this was super fun. I had a great time. So, one of the main reasons why Otakon was so fresh to me is because the way they approach taking care of guests and, you know, handlers such as myself is very different than what I've been used to, right? Because I've done a lot of events, and most of the time, you know, the guests are given a per diem, they're working at the event, they usually don't get too much free time, even though, like, you know, some events will try to give them some free time to sightsee and whatnot. But Otakon was very different. So, reg events per diem, like for food, for guests, maybe sometimes like. So this would be the norm, right? So regular events, you know, per diem, if at that, because there are a lot of events that don't even give you a per diem because they just don't have the ability to. Like smaller events, I assume just don't even have a per diem. Like they might be able to get you. Well, of course, you would expect to pay them, yes, but at the same time, like this is like the standard, right? Like, look, like we'll give you money that you need to eat, which is within reasonable bounds. And of course, like the staffs may or may not get benefits. It really depends on the event. But Otakon was really fresh to me for various reasons. Because of course, I actually went completely by myself. Like, I was alone in that sense because I made that trip by myself without any of my friends or anybody that I knew going at all. Pretty much, with the exception of the person that actually brought me on to join the event, which was the same friend that asked me for a favor to work at Anime North I mentioned earlier. So that same friend, essentially after Anime North, asked me because they knew that Otakon was trying to expand, they were trying to, you know, get bigger, and of course because they were trying to get bigger with more guests, they needed more people to help, and he was confident in my ability because it's not my first time around the rodeo per se. So they asked me to come in and help them out. Of course, I was more than happy to, especially since Otakon paid for all of my plane ticket and food expenses. So they were completely down to just cover me. And for me, in general, like, always down to go to events if they just cover all my expenses. I'm totally down to help them in whatever extent I can if they just cover me, because I just treat it as almost like a learning experience, and also to network. And because of that, they're willing to cover my expenses, and it cost me absolutely nothing to get there. I'm there, and that's something that I'm really happy to do for most events too, and I have done, and will probably do for a lot more events coming up. But and because they were so willing to do this, I was super happy to go, and I was like, yeah, like this is exciting. I get to see what an event that's bigger than any other event that I've ever been to in virtual Canada, because again, our events aren't nearly as big. For example, like is around the 35K people range. So in comparison, this is still a much bigger event in terms of size than what I'm normally used to, and as such, I treat it as a very learning experience. Like, oh, I wonder what the big boys play like. I wonder what I'm gonna learn there. And honestly, I'll be damn. I learned a lot because they totally have a different way of approaching hospitality. And by that I mean bro, they pay for everything. And normally, like, you know, the per diems that we give to guests, it's usually calculated based on a, like, look, you're probably going to have 3 meals a day. It's going to be like $20 or $30 per meal. And that's a very normal and acceptable assumption, right? Because we don't expect you, the average guest, to go out and get like foie gras and then be like $500 a person. We ain't covering that, right? Otakon will cover that. Yeah. They would totally cover this. And while I was with various guests over there that entire weekend, and most of the time, if they went for steak, they went for seafood, it's like $100 to $200 per person. Yeah, Otakon's got you. This is crazy to me, because obviously those are very high costs, but at the same time, like, the guests were just so happy to be there, and they were just so satisfied with the fact that they were so well treated and well covered. And not only that, they had really good things set up that I learned about. Like, for example, they had a battle bridge, which is essentially a hotel room of the biggest size, like, say something like a presidential suite. That they turned into a general gathering spot for guests and staff. So this battle bridge concept honestly probably isn't that new, but the extent of which Otakon was doing this was honestly super impressive to me, because not only were they able to provide a really nice stopping spot for guests and staff to sort of come in when they're free, mainly because the battle bridge has a lot of resources, right? It has drinks, it has food, like, they have, like, they even went out and even got like instant ramen and kimchi and stuff, just for Asian guests to be a little bit more welcome in the mornings when they, you know, wake and they need a little bit of food before they start the day's event. Like, that idea was fantastic. And not only that, it was such a nice and welcoming place. And at the evenings, they have just liquor, like constant stream of liquor, that it was such an organic experience for the guests and the staff that take care of them, and the staff that work the event regularly, to just gather there at the end of the night and just hang out. I mean, definitely this was very much buffed by the fact that, you know, the hotel room had a terrace that was probably almost 2,000 square foot. Yeah, like, the hotel room had a huge terrace, and what would happen with such a big terrace is people would just hang out there in the terrace. So not only were, you know, musicians able to, like, get food and just, like, chill there, drink and eat, it was such a, like, an organic way of doing it that I was honestly very impressed, because I haven't been able to achieve that. And that's because doing this requires so much extra money. But this is money that they were willing to spend because they know that their hospitality is one of the most important things in what they offer to the guests. And honestly, it was such a great experience for me too, because being with the guests, that meant my ass was covered along with their ass. So, like, in general, this was such a great experience. Like, I was sitting there, I think it was Saturday night. Some of the staff set up this, like, whiskey tasting menu that both staff and guests were able to try. And this wasn't just like a regular, like, hey, here's a cup of whiskey, drink it. Like, we'll tell you a little bit about your that's it. No, they went all out. Like this, they did this for free, guys. They did this for absolutely free. And they just not only brought out like really fancy, probably not necessarily super expensive whiskey, but like a very interesting picks where they've actually prepared like full explanations about the history of the brand and how they came to be and why they have they incorporate the certain tastes that you can find in the whiskey. No, they also prepared like cheese plates, and like this wasn't even like a regular cheese plate. Like they prepared specific matches because apparently they've done full research on their own dime about which foods they find to pair with which whiskey the best. Can you imagine this? This was just done by like this couple who happened to be the staff of this event that just wanted to share their love of whiskey to the guests and also to the staff. Like that is amazing to me that they would go out of their way to do that. And this definitely showed me a lot about the kind of atmosphere of which they were working with, you know, like this, like after going through this experience and seeing like how the guests really enjoyed their time there, how much they really appreciated, you know, what the event was doing for them, and how they were able to, because of the existence of the battle bridge, were able to. Oh, I'm not out of no space here. I have to delete part of the text. Yeah, because of the battle bridge, the event was able to create a space that naturally both allowed for organic conversations or interactions between guests and staff. And this isn't just limited to just the guests and the people that are handling them. No, it also happened between the guests themselves, right? Because there were a lot of course, Japanese guests and other guests, because, of course, otakons become much bigger. And they've even started to touch on a lot of things that I personally don't really have a lot of knowledge in, aka like Korean. Like, I believe they had a K-pop group, which was very interesting. But the fact that they were able to create such an organic space for people to just mesh and be able to talk to each other. Like, I saw so many like guests. There were like people from like TV studios and also in like anime studios, and also, you know, voice actors and stuff. It was such a like an organic place for them to just be, and also just strike up conversation with each other with the help of things such as the whiskey tasting I was mentioning earlier, where people would just gather and then they would just talk between themselves because everybody's just enjoying a good drink while just relaxing after a busy work day, right? Like, it was such a great idea that I hope to eventually implement in, you know, other events too, because I do think that kind of hospitality is just, you know, it's something that should be there for the guests to really enjoy their time, because as much as it is work for them, at the same time, you know, being overseas, especially if they're from Asia, you know, I want to give them like a really nice place to really be able to, you know, enjoy their time here. And it's not all just, oh, I was just stuck at the event for however many days and I have to just immediately go back home kind of thing, right? Like, that kind of space was just, you know, it got me thinking a lot. It's probably the best way to put it. But yeah, but in the end, like this was great. And I learned lots and would totally go back. ... Except next year is no go. And I can't get into the specifics of this, but the specifics of why I can't go to Otakon next year is mainly due to scheduling conflict. And that is something that's completely out of... it's not the event's a problem, of course. And it's not even my own problem in that sense. Mainly just, you know, there's a lot of things happening on the same weekend. And of course, there's things I have to prioritize. So unfortunately, I can't go next year, but I really wanted to. But rest assured, I'll be back. yeah, so my first Otakon experience was very positive, and this happened at the end of July. Of course, like during smack dab in a period of time where I was actually just very stuffed with work. So it was such a welcome breath of fresh air to be able to experience like a very, in my opinion, a very well run event. Despite the fact that there's no event that's ever free from problems, and that's just the real state of how events are run, especially since most events tend to be non-for-profit, and of course I'm professional to a certain degree, so we can't escape problems. But the way I see them handle things shows a lot of the experience and the seniority, because of course this event has been happening for 20 plus years. It's a very old event, and as such, it definitely shows. Their experience shows, and I was really impressed, and I'd love to be back. But it was overall just a great working experience for me. Like, I did the work that was expected of me, and I handled it well, I think. I didn't see any complaints, so I think I did okay. I think I did okay. I think I did okay. Yeah, I think I did well. I didn't see any complaints. There were a lot of people that did let me know that they liked the work I did, so I appreciate that, of course, as always. But I'd love to be back. But of course, that leads me directly to the event that happened just a few, that's probably about 2 weeks, which is. I have a few letters here. I have a few letters. So, of course, now we go into the next thing that happened, major thing that happened, which is Otakathon. So, Otakathon, I am heavily involved in. To what extent, I will not say. But the heavy implication that I will put here is that I am deeply involved in this event, and I have put a lot of effort into making it as good as it can be. So, at Otakuthon, I was definitely extremely busy because I was very busy the months leading up to it as we were, preparing, announcements and contracts and whatnot. There's a lot of things I was preparing for, and coming off of Otakon, the Otakuthon is definitely one of the events I put the most focus in because I do feel like it's very close to me, and it's, in my opinion, probably the best virtual Canadian event that I know of, and mainly because events like Anime North is in general a disappointment. But yes, with Otakuthon, I was like super busy. And this is both leading up to it and during. Because frankly, the position that I have at Otakuthon makes it so I'm running around constantly doing things, and I usually don't end up resting. So my typical workday for Otakuthon is during it is wake up around 8, 9 a.m. Finish around maybe midnight at earliest. Mainly because, like with what I do, I'm usually around during the entirety of it. Just because I need to be doing things and at places. Won't get to too specifics in the fear of just talking a little bit too much. But yeah, during it, there was definitely a lot of stuff that was happening. So yeah, heavy stress. On top of the fact that random BS was happening with JP work. So yes, I was definitely very stressed during the event, and I was just doing my best to just make sure things went well. Not everything went perfect, of course. It never does. It's just the reality of an event. But I do think that mostly we did pretty good. And some of the main things I was involved in was mostly on the VTuber side, because I probably have hinted in the past I'm very heavily involved with VTubers in general. I'm going to get a little bit into it, mainly because the way that I've been involved has been a little bit changed, and I can probably release a little bit of information due to the fact that the JP work that I've been involved in has changed. But as a result, with Otakuthon, I was mostly doing VTuber related. Being part of the VTuber related things means I was definitely involved with certain things. Which also includes, of course, Rimpa-san and yeah. Yes, of course. Rimpa-san and Hiatus actually both came to Virtual Canada just to visit me this time, and of course, not only to visit me, but really be part of our event. So very thankful that they came, and of course, this is not the first time for Rimpa-san to actually come to our event. And this is actually the first time Hiatus-san's been able to come to the event. Actually, originally, Rimpa-san came for the first time last year in 2022. And it seemed like he had a pretty good time. I hope he had a good time. He looks very good. Let's just say Rimpa-san looks very dashing in kimono. So yes, Rimpa-san has to wear that kimono half the time, and he looks fantastic wearing it. So Rimpa-san came for the first time last year, and I was super thankful that he was willing to come because, frankly, for 2022, it was really difficult to get guests, especially guests that were voice acting related, due to the fact that we were just coming off of COVID. And because we were just coming off of COVID, a lot of voice acting agencies, and I do talk to them, by the way, just due to the nature of my work, a lot of voice acting agencies were not very cool with having their talents out during this risky time, especially since the talents themselves, a lot of the time, have reservations about going overseas in the first place, because they're going like, oh my god, any sort of travel, I'm gonna get sick. So because of the fact that since Rimpa-san was willing to come last year, it was such a great help because he was one of the only voice actors that agreed to come, and that's something I greatly appreciate. And so I want them to come back this time, especially with Hirai-san this time, mainly because Hirai-san was unable to come last year, not because he didn't want to, but he had a lot of other things to do during that exact same time, so due to scheduling conflicts, he wasn't able to come. But this time we finally had him. We finally got him. Yeah. I mean, personally, I was really happy about that, especially since both Rimpa-san and Hirai-san are people that I very much look up to, not only in the VTuber sphere, but of course as a professional voice actor / actor, and also in Hirai-san's case, he's a professional TV comedian, right? And in the 90s, he used to be on TV a lot. And these are people that I think are very, very cool, and I very much admire their field work. And having them, at our event, and hopefully they had a good time. It seems like they had a pretty interesting time, so that's good. But yes, having them around was definitely fantastic, and I hope they were able to enjoy Montreal, because Montreal is definitely a very cool place. I don't personally reside in Montreal, but I go there every year just to, work at the event and stuff. But Montreal is such a beautiful place, right? Because Montreal is so beautiful, since it's like a mix of traditional and current. And what I mean by that is, if you ever look at any of the pictures of Montreal, you see that they have quite a lot of buildings that are in the old, like, European style. And then you look on the other side, and it's all like really new city buildings, and that kind of mix, in my opinion, is one of the many charms that that city has. Not only that, but also great food, drinks, which is always a great thing. So I always make it a point to try to have our esteemed guests, they really enjoy themselves at these places. So I had some newer members of staff be with them, because of course I trust in Hirai-san and Rimpa-san, and know they're very, very nice people. They've always, taken care of me also, and both, a lot of times where I'd ask them for advice and whatnot and stuff. So I know they were fantastic people, so I was really safe with having some of our newer staff take care of them, because, our newer staff, even though they aren't experienced, they are definitely in a good place skill-wise, and I know that they would do very well. And I personally, helped out with some of the stuff that they were doing too. And of course, they were doing their own Q&As, but also, we were able to get Venetian members to do a panel, which their panel was more of a teach us English panel. So what they did in terms of the panels, I don't think anybody took a video of it or anything, but basically we had two specific VTuber panels that were related to, Hiai-san and Nuppa-san. One was with JP Indies, and that panel was a quiz show. So for the NHN members, of course, it was also my first time meeting a lot of them, with the exception of, Igusa-chan, who I previously have done work with, especially with the online otaku-don that we've done previously. But it was my first time meeting the girls, and I think they're all very nice girls, and I do look forward to what they can achieve in the future. But yeah, the panel that we had them in was sort of a very interesting little panel where we had a whole bunch of our attendees kind of walk up and just kind of teach them just general English. And of course, we were able to just have fun with that kind of thing with just various like English phrases, some of them memes, some of them not. But it was a general, very good atmosphere with, people sort of having that direct interaction with the NHM members. And I think they also had a pretty good time. I haven't really spoken to them too much about that afterwards, but I do think that it was a really cool experience to sort of implement that kind of thing. And for the Japanese indies, we had 3 specific indies who are friends from Hiai-san. He helped me sort of set that up. Big thanks to him, because there's a lot of content that Hiai-san really helped me with and also was able to pull through. That really helped me out. And basically what we did with the quiz panel is that we just had random people come up and just do like random quiz questions about just general topics. It wasn't anything specific, because obviously nobody get those. It'd be just something like, oh, like, do you know what the main export of Canada is? Like that kind of like really super general, like almost like quiz show like kind of questions, but easier kind of thing. We just had like a nice time with like the 3 female talents, which we had Yokata-chan, we had Kuroki Arya-chan, and then we also had Amagi Ten-chan, who were, big thank yous to them for, willing to come and also, be able to sort of interact with our audiences, which I thought was really cool. And in fact, I think later next month, we might actually have a collab where we'll just kind of gather up and just talk about that entire experience and, their thoughts on it. So please look forward to that. I think there's definitely more to talk about there, but it's definitely, that was very cool. But other than that, well, Takuton in general, there was some really interesting things that we had there. Like, for example, we had Kanabun over. And of course, Kanabun was awesome. Yeah, so that was actually my first time seeing Kanabun live. And definitely, I was a big fan of some of their songs. I can't say I'm a big fan of them because I didn't really know most of their songs, I'll be dead honest. But the 2 main songs that I really liked from them was, of course, Silhouette, because everybody likes Silhouette from Naruto. But also, the song I actually liked most from them was Naimono Nedari. And one of the main reasons why I love that song is that song can be sung both as a solo song and also as a dual song. And that's a very unique way that song is structured. And also that song is just catchy as all hell. But they played both songs. I was super happy. Honestly, one of the dumbest things about this concert was the fact that Van asked... So the last song that they played before like an encore, last song, is Silhouette, which was fantastic. Because why would you not play the most hype song at the very end, right before the encore, right? Like, I would almost even place it at the encore. Like, that's the kind of song that belongs to it. But then we're just going like, yeah, yo, that was a great song. Oh, they stepped up the stage. Encore, 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 encore. And what do you think the encore was? And this is the song that kind of boom went, hey guys, what song would you like for us to sing as an encore? So it's just like, and they were like, "Hey, thank you for having us for encore. Like, what song do you want to say?" Everybody was shouting, "Yeah, guys, come on, like, come on, guys." Like, I know you guys mostly only know the one song, but we literally just listened to Silhouette, and you want Silhouette again? So they played Silhouette again. It was so stupid. Like, honestly, like, I think it's also a bit of a misexpectation on their part too, because I don't think they also expected for the crowd to, you know, just ask them for Silhouette for a second time. They probably expected the crowd to know a little few more songs, right? Because I think if they knew that the crowd was going to ask for Silhouette one more time, they probably would have ended with a different song and then just played Silhouette at the very end, right? But because, let's be honest, the North American crowd isn't the smartest crowd when it comes to Japanese bands, because they probably only know the one or two songs from whatever anime that they were involved in. As a result, yeah, they played Silhouette essentially 2 times in a row. As awesome as that song is, and as much as I like that song, playing it twice was kind of awkward. Yeah, like, can you imagine just at the end of a concert, you're just listening to the song you just listened to for a second time? Uh, so yeah, I do think they should sort of reconsider how they want to do that concert. But at the same time, they sounded great. I mean, despite some audio issues, and honestly, audio issues was something that we had during the event for the entire weekend, mainly because the audio guys that we got to do the event were, let's just play here. No, let's not put it in the text because I'm just gonna say that they were not the best, and definitely there was a lot of reflection to be done on what kind of people we should leave to do audio for, you know, big concerts and stuff. Of course, definitely that's something to think about. But at the same time, yeah, I think concert itself was pretty cool, and of course there was also the Nisanji concert. So, yeah, when I mentioned that I was heavily involved with VTubers, I was also involved in this part too. And frankly, for the concert, a lot of things were great about it, except the audio team that was handling was just kind of ate shit. And that was honestly the most unfortunate part. But overall, I do think that a lot of the fans, especially the fans of Nijisanji, really did enjoy the fact that it happened. Even though, of course, the audio definitely could have used a lot of work, even though we were really pushing it to be a little better, but in the end, unfortunately, it was not as good as it could have been. But at the same time, I do think the fans did appreciate that happened. So, but that's the main full extent of what I was talking about mostly, aside from, you know, a lot of the side stuff that I was involved in. Those are the three main things that really had my attention over that weekend. So yeah. Overall, good event. I do think overall it was great. And one of the reasons why it was great was big roast in the event. And this is something that I care about a lot, and this is something that I am actively working towards, because I didn't want the face of Canadian events to be an event like Anime North, right? Because Anime North is not a great event, and as such, there were a lot of guests that have gone to Anime North and were not happy about the experience, right? So, like me, I want a better event to headline Canadian events in general. And the main reason why I want that is to really show off to the Japanese side that we can do better. Like, we have the means to do better, and we will do better as we go on. And one of the things I'm happy about is, I'm sure you can actually check the Wikipedia. They do claim this. We technically don't want to claim this, but we would like to. I'm going to claim this. So I think some of the fans claim this, and personally, I don't exactly know whether it is or not. Mainly due to the fact that I know our numbers are very good because we have an electronic system for tapping in and out of the event, and we don't count the amount of attendees that come based on like turnstile stuff. We specifically because our system of getting tickets is online mostly, with the exception of tickets that you purchase during the day of. Everything is, you know, warm body based. So our warm body count 35k, up from 29k. So we had a 6k attendee increase since last year, and this was fucking awesome. Because that's a big increase. That's a very, very, very big increase. And that's definitely, most likely, bigger than any sort of growth that we've seen from any Canadian event this year. And honestly, I was super happy about that. It's really good to know that the kind of effort that I'm putting into making the event better is showing, and that the attendees are having a good time and are expecting enough from the event that they were able to, you know, give it a shot. So, of course, a lot of it is also due to the fact that, you know, it's post-COVID, we're finally getting back into the groove of going back to a more normal lifestyle, a more normal schedule, a more normal way to interact with people, and we're able to go back to these sorts of really big gatherings again, right? That we're not feeling as sus about them anymore, which I think is a really good thing, and I would like to, you know, really make that as good of a thing as possible. So the fact that we're pretty close, it's look, yeah, Anime North playing is also around the 35k range. Supposedly they said that they were more than 35k. We're pretty much right at 35k, a little bit over. So from a pure reporting number standpoint, they have more people than us supposedly. But I know for a fact that Anime North is really sus. Mainly due to the fact that, you know, this year their content was very lackluster, and them claiming that they had just as much as, you know, pre-COVID, I think is a little bit sus. And I know their way of counting is also not nearly as advanced as the way we do it, because of how much better our system for counting such things are. And I know that Anime North literally still has people with tick counters at the front door that are just like kind of clicking along to like how many people they see enter. You know, it's like that's the kind of technology that they're working with, as opposed to us, where Otakathon has an electronic badge that you tap at turnstiles to go in, out. So we have a completely automated system where attendees literally just take their badge and just tap on a thing that goes beep, so we can keep track that way. So comparatively, compared to their more primitive way of doing things, I'm pretty sure we have them beat. I'm fairly sure the numbers are not as accurate as ours, and as a result, I'm pretty sure we are bigger. Yeah. Pretty sure. Which is good, and that's definitely, this is not a goal, in the sense that this is not the end, because my goal is definitely to make the event even better, try to do more for it, and of course, you know, have our guests have a better time at our event every time they come. Like, these are all things I'm still actively working on, and definitely will be focusing on for the next year, because I've already started planning for 2024. 2024 planning in session. So I'm already planning for next year, and I'm gonna try to get my work done for it a little bit sooner, so probably have a little bit less stress leading up to it and during it. Of course, not everything went perfect with us this year. There were definitely a lot of problems that require a lot of reflection and also improvement on. But I really do hope that eventually people will see us as the beacon of hope, I guess, within the anime events in virtual Canada. So definitely, like, I'm fairly happy with how this year went, even though personally, just being in the position I am, just like, I wish we did certain things better. Like, I'm always sort of reflecting on how we could do things better, make things easier for everyone. So yes, please look forward to next year. I promise to make it better, bigger, and hopefully more fun for everyone. So, so that's that for Otaku-san. So next, let's talk about what happened for the rest of August. I had a lot of other things too, like not only with, you know, events in general and also my work and stuff. There was a lot of personal things I actually also had to deal with, like you know, events that I had to go to personal life wise, like friends' weddings and whatnot. Just a lot of things were so overall there's a lot of stuff, but specifically JP work. Let's talk about this. And I can probably reveal some very general things about this now, because let's put it this way, I am no longer working at the company that I used to work for. Recently shifted to a new job. Birthday P started last week. So yeah, the JP side work I was doing previously, which I've actually been doing for more than 2.5 years, was stressing me out. Frankly, it was taking so much of my time, it was stressing me out, and frankly, I was not happy with a lot of the scenarios that was happening with that work. And this was definitely something I was struggling, especially, oh my god, the last half year has been a struggle, both workload-wise and also other things I can't talk about. Yeah, but definitely I was extremely busy and stuff, and definitely am not necessarily able. Like, there were a lot of situations. Man, I have to be really careful about my words. You know what? Let's reveal the reason why I have to be careful about my words here. So yes, I can reveal this now that I'm officially not part of them anymore. I used to work up until 2 weeks ago. I used to work for Any Color, so let's just call it Rainbow Court. So yes, I used to work for Ninisanji. I no longer work for Ninisanji, and there's no good details I can really talk about this, but due to a lot of things that I've been sworn to secrecy, of course, being the nature of my work. But there were a lot of things that I definitely was not particularly. I was struggling quite a bit due to a lot of different factors, and as such, as of 2 weeks ago, I've chosen to leave the company. But of course, the time that I've spent during the company was very fruitful, great learning experience, and I had a lot of good times with the team that I was working with. And it's been really hard work, but one of the things I really wanted to do, especially since I was such a big fan of VTubers in general, is I really want to work for a VTuber agency and see sort of from the back end how things work. And definitely I was able to do that with any color. Of course, I cannot get into any of the specifics, not even a little bit. But needless to say, it was a really great working experience, and I did really enjoy my time. And honestly, I'm super glad I was able to contribute to content that I enjoy. Yeah, so really being able to because I've been a Nijisanji fan for a very, very long time, since probably a little bit before the boom of 2020. I was a big fan of a lot of their talents. And this was way before, the EM branch ever existed. And I was a big fan of them, and honestly, it was out on a straight whim that I decided to apply, which somehow miraculously was accepted. And as such, I was working for them for over 2.5 years. And it has overall been a good experience in terms of learning. I learned a lot about the going-ons, which has been very helpful, and I do think that knowledge will be very good to have, and will be... Yes, I do think this knowledge will serve me very well going forward, and especially the experience that I've gained through working with them will be very useful for me, and most likely my resume. But I was honestly glad to just be a part of supporting the content that I really enjoyed via being able to actually contribute via doing work for them. So, great experience. But due to circumstances, no longer with them. So yeah, the circumstances are mainly personal. There's a lot of personal things. I wouldn't really call them disagreements per se. Like, it's not at that level, but due to various circumstances, I didn't feel like I was able to really put in, especially with, workloads being an issue, and also there are a lot of things, but in general, I think the easiest thing to say is that just due to various personal circumstances and the fact that they don't align with what the company wants to do, both for what they expect out of me and both where the direction that they're going, I decided to probably just take a step back. As much as I enjoyed my experience of working with them, and I enjoyed the company of my coworkers, it's just gone to the point where I felt like I should probably take a step back, and so I decided to do so. And of course, I know that a lot of my coworkers were not happy to see me leave, and I was also not happy to know that I would probably not be able to see them again. Well, to work with them to the extent that we were working at previously. But I do think that this was for the best. But and of course, I do hope for the best for what they are going to do from now on into the future, which I'll no longer be a part of. But at the same time, I have started a new work. So as of last week, I started new work at a different company. So yes, as of last week, I started new work at a different company. Of course, this one I can't talk about at all because it's ongoing. And I won't talk about any of my ongoing work since it's probably super easy to dox me if I get too into it. But as of last week, I started new work at a different company, JP, which puts me on a similar schedule, but I am working less hours than I used to, which is the start. So just working less hours probably means I'll be a little bit less stressed and of course a little bit less encumbered time-wise, which is why this is the main contributor to the ability to start streaming. Yes. Now that I'm in part of this new company where my workload is less for now, I'm probably able to keep up a more regular streaming schedule since I'll be less encumbered with things I have to do. And also, of course, the fact that, let's talk about streaming. Yeah, so I am a lot less working less now, and because I'm working less, and because also the timing wise, we're now heading into autumn. So since we're going into autumn, winter, rag job, less work due to shift in seasons, event, less less involved work, more planning work, which can be done at a much more leisurely pace. And JP job, new job with less hours. So yeah, due to this entire mix of factors that you see here, with my regular job being less intensive now because we're getting into the autumn winter season and there's less stuff for me to do, so I can relax a little bit more. And the event side, since we're shifting into the seasons where people don't really do events due to weather and also the lack of availability of volunteers, we're usually in high school, and because they have school now, so there's less of them. So normally events don't really do stuff in autumn and winter as a result. But then moving into that, we're more shifting into just planning for next year. And because it's planning for next year, even though I'm moving and doing the planning stuff, I have more time because, frankly, there's less execution and more planning. And I can take that at a slightly more leisurely pace as we slowly ramp up to various events that are starting in 2024. Yeah, there's less for me to really be encumbered, which is good. And also for the JP job side, of course, my new job has less requirement out of me in terms of hours. So I can take that at a much more leisurely pace, which is good, which is fantastic. And as a result, I can stream again! Yeah. So, yes, luckily, from now onwards, I will be going back to the previous schedule of at least 3 or maybe even 4 times a week. I can start streaming again. So please look forward to that from now on. I will be able to finally be able to put in more time to really sort of, I don't know if develop is the right word, because I don't think I still have enough time to really develop my channel and develop my content in general, in the sense that I still have a lot of work to do and a lot of things that I need to do. And I still do see this as more of a me relaxed time. Because to me, like, streaming is still me relaxed time where I get to, just chill, talk to you guys, and also be able to play the games that I've been meaning to play and stuff. But because of that, I am finally able to go back to my schedule and finally come back from my hiatus and be able to, do this more regularly once again. So looking forward to doing that, and hopefully, please watch. Please watch. But yes, in terms of streaming, I'm definitely going to be able to do that again. So starting next week, this week, this will be the only stream for this week due to some things I'll be busy over the weekend for. But from next week onwards, we're finally going back to a more regular schedule. I will be streaming more regularly, even though there's going to be a shift in how I do my stream. So let's talk a little bit about that. So let's talk a little bit about that, because I think you've noticed, especially if you look at the YouTube handle that I'm currently using, which is a little bit different than probably what you remember it to be. And this is a change that I thought of trying, because this is still, definitely very much in the testing stage. So I was thinking like I should kind of like let's just play this my thoughts. And this is just thinking that I've been doing like while I've been on hiatus, right? Because I from thoughts I was saying I should brand what I do a little better. And in terms of that, like I think this is definitely going to be a very step-by-step thing. But basically, due to the fact that I've just been randomly doing streams of games and they're not exactly very coherent in terms of which games I do and stuff, mainly due to the fact that I just kind of play what I want. Like, as of now, I just kind of play what I want. But as such, I thought it might be a little bit better to sort of not drastically modify what I do, but sort of just in small ways kind of improve its focus. So because of this, what I want to come up with is the name that I've added, which is the Try Hard Casual. So if you're asking me what this is and why I wanted to give this a try, is the fact that I kind of like went back and sort of really thought about what I am as a gamer. So what I like, the more I think about how I play games and what I do with games, is that I realize that I am a casual that tries a little bit too hard. Frankly, that's sort of the way that I feel about my own self. So because of that, I want to sort of brand the title a little bit closer to what people can expect to see from the kind of games that I play. So basically what I thought was, personal thoughts about myself as a gamer. So I'm someone that really wants to super try hard when playing games, but as someone with not very much flexibility in time, I can only play at a casual level. So as such, I was like, like when I play games, I go hard, right? Most of the time when I play a JRPG, I want 100% it. Most of the time when I'm playing a rhythm game, I really strive to get better as much as I can. But frankly, I can't put enough time to really make a very big impact or dent onto most of this stuff. So because of that, I was just like, you know what, let's put this out front and center so people know what to expect. So basically what the focus would be at this point is that I sort of wanted to sort of get people to know, like, hey, like, I play games. I'm decently okay at most of them, and especially rhythm games where I would say I'm like probably better than the average person. I hope. But at the same time, I'm not somebody that can play at a super like godlike level, and that's not something I can achieve due to the various limitations of my life. So, but at the same time, I do want to show like the process of how somebody who's trying to take this sort of somewhat seriously, but at the same time don't have the resource to, like, how far can I go with it? So from now on, I just wanted to sort of brand it under the Try Hard Casual and make it so during streams I specifically set up goals per stream that I do my best to meet during the duration of the stream. So basically, from now on, I really want to sort of focus down my gaming to the sense that even though I might not have all the time in the world to really game all that much, and it's going to be a semi-regular thing where that happens, I really want to increase the amount of skill-based games I do. So there's probably going to be more rhythm games and skill intensive ones. and a bit less JRPG. Yeah. Mainly because I think that I want to tackle more skill-intensive ones, aka games that I can really sort of show a slow but steady progression at. And with the every stream, I want to sort of set out goals for myself. For example, like say, start a rhythm game stream that goals for improvement. So say if I just did a pro sector stream right now. So the way I would do a pro sector stream now that I want to sort of focus it is that it won't be just, hey, I'm just gonna randomly play songs and that's it. So what I would probably want to do now if I were to do a pro sector stream, and those are definitely coming. Please do look forward to that. I haven't actually touched my iPad for any sort of rhythm gaming in the past while. So I'm gonna go and just update my games and buy all the songs, and I'm gonna come back to play them on stream. So don't you worry about that. But basically what I would do now, instead of just going into it willy-nilly without much focus, is I really want to sort of buckle down and go like, hey, I've got probably about 2 hours today. Let's set out a list of things I want to do during this time. Like, I'll probably start a list of going like, oh, okay, I want to improve my accuracy. Can't wait to beat me up. Please beat me up. You are probably much better than me at that game now. But I do plan on improving, which is what the concept of the try hard casual is. Like, I'm still putting in casual hours, but these casual hours, I'm gonna try hard. So basically, like if I were to do a pro sector stream, like let me just so say I do a pro sector stream. But if I were to do one now, I'd be like, okay, today I want to improve accuracy. So level 26, all full combo at least 3 songs. Level 27, FC at least 1 song. Level 30 within 1 digit. So it'll be like something like that, right? Where I can like just set out specific goals that I'll be actively working on during the stream, where I'll be like, hey, I want to improve my accuracy. So let's improve my accuracy by getting more full combos, or let's improve my accuracy by seeing how few bad accuracy counts out of perfects that I can do. You know, that kind of thing? Just set realistic goals that I can achieve and sort of just knock them off while I'm doing it. And this would apply to like any stream. Like for example, maybe I'll just, and I do plan on doing this. I do plan on starting Street Fighter 6. So for Street Fighter 6, it'd probably be something like learn a. So because I'm a dead casual at fighting it, so it'd be something like maybe learn a B&B combo, win 2 games online, beat combo trials for character. Like it would be something like this, where I wanted to really focus my streams more with a goal in mind, and then during the course of the stream work towards it. In that case, just really, you know, putting a theme, a more focused theme onto just gaming that I normally do. And of course, this can also apply to JRPGs, although with JRPGs it's a little bit more difficult to set goals without knowing what's coming next. So it's probably more just going like, well, low progression, get more used to the thing. So that one might be just the casual instead of the try hard casual. But yeah, I definitely want to start doing more skill intensive games. So yeah, so really the main focus on the whole try-hard casual concept, in my opinion, is I want to really just, as content, show you guys like, hey, like, I might not be able to put like 7 to 8 hours a day into really getting better in these things, but I hope to at least sort of show you guys me getting better at things. slowly but surely, just through just meaning of gold and stuff, and really just put a little bit more focus into just getting better at things. Since there's definitely a lot of things I'm very interested in, not only with fighting games and rhythm games, but even stuff like puzzle games and stuff. There's quite a few ones that have caught my mind, like just have caught my eye and stuff. And basically what I want to do is just to really focus down that to a very tangible set of goals and just working towards them, so you guys can sort of follow along with me and hopefully be able to see my general progress when playing games, because I do love progress. Like, the main reason why I'm even doing this progress is I love growing as a gamer, but not enough time to meaningfully do so. Right? Yeah, I love growing as a gamer and a person, and that's one of the reasons why I like rhythm games so much, because it's something that's akin to learning an instrument, where you can really, most of the time, objectively be able to see yourself getting better and better with more and more practice and more focus into the areas that I'm bad at. So I want to just really dig into that from now on, you know? It won't be all like this. There's probably going to be more casual ones, and I'll mark them appropriately, like the try-hard casual will be the try-hard casual. Also, the fact that the try-hard casual is also the same moniker TTC as the Toronto Transit Commission is a complete coincidence, but I'm gonna go with it because why not? Let's put more Canada up in this bitch. But yeah, so basically I just want to, you know, kind of focus up on the gaming streams from now on. So just, it's not going to be all that radically different from what you've seen from me in the past, but now on I just want to just put a little bit more focus on it. Just going like, hey, I want to get better. Like, one of the things I really want to challenge myself is speedrunning. Because personally, I love speedrunning as a concept, because what speedrunning games are, for those of you who do not know, okay, just let me put a declaration. So, for those of you who aren't familiar with speedrunning, so speedrunning as a core concept is just about finishing games as fast as humanly possible without external stuff, right? So you don't use the Game Shark or anything. You just put in, like for the old games, you just put in a cartridge or a CD and you just go, right? And I do want to explore it because I've been a big fan of speedrunning for the longest time. And I regularly watch the GDQ events, Awesome Games Done Quick and Summer Games Done Quick. And I love the guys who do that stuff. I love it when they explain step by step what they're doing and stuff. And I do donate to it pretty regularly. And personally, that's something I've never really got into because it's always seemed like such a high hurdle, right? But that's actually something I really want to eventually sort of play around with. Like, probably not at a high level to the point where I'd probably be on leaderboards or anything, but I really want to just give that a go, right? Like, it could be like a simple game, not like not all games are long, frankly. Like, there are games that you can finish within 10 to 20 minutes. Of course, most RPGs are probably much longer than that, but like, say for example, if we're speedrunning like Pokemon, like that's something that people can reasonably learn to a certain extent, and sort of start just practicing, right? So that's something I sort of wanted to sort of try. But of course, as a casual, even though I am trying hard, and in the sense that I'm really focusing on the concept of speedrunning a game, which is a hardcore concept to begin with, I just want to, you know, just sort of bring that sort of content to you guys in the future. So do look forward to these kind of things. Again, it's not going to be a huge deviation from what you've seen from me previously, so don't worry. The very few people that enjoy the previous Majima Nago content, it's going to stay intact. I'm just going to put a little bit more focus on it to hopefully make it more entertaining to you guys as a whole, right? Because honestly, one of the things I've always been concerned about is how entertaining I am to you guys, and I'm very much aware that I'm probably not the most interesting person to listen to or really tune into. So I wanted to do my part into trying to really improve the nature of the content that I put out in order to make it a little bit more interesting for you guys to watch. So I hope you guys will look forward to it, and I hope with the new focused direction that it'll be more interesting to watch as a whole. So yeah, in general, that's sort of where I want to go in the future, and we'll probably start that up fairly soon. It's gonna be in the testing stages for a little while, as I'm trying to probably find my bearings for how exactly to really focus up these streams where I play games. But do look forward to it, and I hope it will be more entertaining than my past stuff. And I do really want you guys to not waste time watching me if it's not going to be fun to watch, right? So I will do my best, and I hope you guys will continue to see my growth. So yoroshiku on for the future. So with that, that's pretty much all I really want to go through today. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little bit of a catch up, because of course I've been looking forward to it too, because it's been 4 months, and honestly I've been a little bit lonely. If you guys feel the same, that'd make me very happy. So as such, for now, I think I'll probably be closing this stream off for now, because I've said all I want to. Next week onwards, please look forward to more actual streams, more gaming streams, and we'll see how that goes. And of course, as usual, please, like, comment, and subscribe. And of course, for comments, please, if there's any things I can improve on, let me know. I know I've just been ranting for the last hour and a half, and I'm not sure that that's very interesting. I hope what I was talking about the reasoning behind my hiatus and what I've been doing during it has been interesting. I hope that's at least brought some nice stories for you guys to sort of listen to. But otherwise, I'll probably continue to do my best, of course, not only with streaming, but also my life and my general work and the stuff that I'll be involved in from here onwards. Like 2024 is gonna be busier. Like, I have no doubt that 2024 is most likely going to be even busier than this year, and as such, I really want to hone not only my regular work but also my streaming and how I do streams in a way which is easier just for me to do in general, so I can do it at a much more consistent pace. So please look forward to that. For now, that's everything. I hope you guys had a good time listening to me rant for the last hour and a half. But otherwise, please look forward to seeing my future streams. I will have a schedule up as soon as possible, most likely on Monday, once I kind of knock out which days I'm actually available. And afterwards, I hope to see you guys at the next stream. Yeah, that's pretty much it. But yeah, I also hope you guys like my new overlays and stuff. And of course, these are the ones you guys will see from here onwards. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you soon. Sarabye. Sarabye.